Thank you for joining our Facebook Live event today. Today we're speaking with senior extraordinaire Shane Zhang.
Yes.
So Shane is one of our excellent undergraduate students. She is scheduled to graduate this semester. So Shane, where are you from? You're one of our few international students in the department.
Yeah, I'm actually from China, and I think there's only like 2 of us in the undergrad departments. But I think it's a wonderful experience in here. So I'm very happy and comfortable in here.
Why did you decide to come to UB?
That is kind of complicated because I would. At that point, I was applying for all those schools, and one of my advisors was like, I had students who graduated from UB and they're so happy. The school is super supportive for whatever activities they would like to plan. I think that will be a great university for you. And here I am. But truth be told, I wasn't expect to be in Buffalo because it's New York State. So I was like, New York.
Yeah.
And then I'm like dropped into the snow. So.
And it's the middle of a snowstorm right now. So it's all about the snow in Buffalo.
My car was frozen.
Yes, mine, luckily I have a garage, so I could pull right out. But you have my sympathies. So you had, 6 majors before you decided on history? Or
Yes, it's almost 6.
Almost.
I think. Let's count. It's cognitive science, it's legal studies, psychology, sociology, and even part of the geography. I think it's geography.
Yeah. So why did you pick history in the end?
Let's talk about that. So I was taking this Introduction to American History, which was taught by Dr. Thornton at that time. And that is just one of the most brilliant classes I've ever taken. Because at the beginning, I'm an international student, so I was very anxious about not getting a C plus in that class. And that's understandable, because that is basically what I was expecting. But it turns out I get an A for that class. And I get to know Dr. Thornton personally, and she was this very encouraging person. And says, Shane, I think you'll be a great fit into the history department. That's but I was hesitated because it's history. It's I was expecting a lot of writing and reading. So I didn't go right in. So I tapped the water, take a few other classes, and it's just a great environment, and every professor and graduate assistant like you are just very wise and salient and always ready to help. So I was like, what else do I expect then? I think great, So
what has been your favorite class that you've taken so far with us?
It's hard to choose. Please don't quote me on this. I think at this point, I would say it's the independent study course I took with Dr. Stipleton last semester. For that class, so I was TAing one of her class, which is China and the World. I've taken that before. So for my independent study, it's a research paper and TAing for her class. So I was supposed to make suggestions for the syllabus and really help with students. And that is just it's just one of the best experiences, because you get to choose what to read. She will always be there supervising me, but most of the times I would have to choose what I need to read, how soon I have to finish all these. I literally had to change my topic on the night before my final paper was due, the first draft. But it's just something I'm absolutely passionate about. So I stayed up all night, which is not recommended, and wrote this 7 pages paper, which is so bad. I don't even want to be reminded of that. But when I brought this draft to Dr. Stapleton, she said, I remember the exact word she said, if this is something you're absolutely passionate about, then you should write about it. Send me 10 drafts and I will read them.
Wow, that's great.
So imagine, most professors would just say no, and with good reasons, because literally you finish all your perspectives,
Mhm.
like thesis, everything, and you had to change the topic on that before.
Mhm.
But it is just what you get from
Yeah.
your professor, and that is just so encouraging. And thank you, Dr. Pickleton.
I'm dreadfully curious. What was your paper on? What did you end up writing on, I should say?
I was going to write about a history of Tang poetry and discuss the political significance of Tang poetry as a literature form, but also how like people have had to write poetry to advance politically because it was part of their examination system back to ancient China, especially in the Tang period. So I end up wrote part of that. I still had sort of like a survey of Chinese poetry, Tang poetry, but it has a great focus on it criticize on a so I focus on a book which is which really try to interpret Chinese poetry like very politically and to stress the like social struggle, class struggle between the literati and the commoners, and saying like Chinese poetries are just only for the upper class to enjoy. I found that argument just so much flaw with that, so I just decided to critique on that.
That's awesome. I'd love to read that at some point.
Yeah,
I don't even do Chinese history, so that sounds fascinating.
But that would be a good paper to read about. I mean, history is very very different. It depends a lot on geography and human interactions. But beauty and literature is definitely something like universal shared.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So is that what you're going to end up? Is that what you've been focusing your research on, Tang poetry, or is it
mostly on Tang history and but also like more modern, because that is like the period where Dr. Stapleton was covering. So I also did a paper with her on like mostly 1950. So that is also something to do with poetry. I love poetry.
That's really, really great. So I know this is probably the $100 question. Yeah. Are you planning to pursue a graduate career in history, or not sure yet?
I'm not sure yet because I did apply for some Asian studies programs around here, but I also plan on public policy or public administration, just to try to apply the knowledge I gathered here. And writing paper is definitely one of the best way to communicate. But like for your ideas to really reach more abroad. We learn history, but really we're trying to study this thing, and I don't think it should only be shared by ourselves. And maybe we will understand what we're talking about just because we have all the knowledge base. But I think it's very important, like other people will be interested too.
Yeah. And that's one of the benefits of having a history undergrad degree, because it's so flexible that you can go into public policy.
There's a lot of ways. I have classmates who like apply for law school and MBA programs, or just do startups after finish a history degree here. I think one of them actually went to Disney Park.
Oh wow!
Yes.
So very diverse.
Yes, it's just so flexible. You can easily fit in anywhere, but it's just solid knowledge. Like I've been traveling around with 6 departments, and history is definitely the one who's like denser and very interesting, and also the environment here. Like I remember when I was I think most happened with my junior year. I basically know everyone in my class.
Oh wow, great!
We have a huge department, but it's just you get to know people very well through group projects and just discussions, because our class are mostly very discussion based. Even those not too much with the 200 level, but 300 level, 400 level is all discussion based. And I mean, our professors are just so supportive.
We're very lucky.
Yeah, keep that atmosphere alive. I just really enjoyed that.
And you're also a member of Phi Alpha Theta, is that correct?
Yes, I've been there for I think it's 3 years now.
Are you going to be presenting this at the conference this year?
I'm thinking about that.
I'm pushing for it. So you're really involved with the department and your classes in Pi Alpha Theta.
I mean, it's just a great department to take part in, and they never make you feel awkward or incompetent. This is just you can just knock in the door and talk to anyone you like. I had experiences where
software update required.
Okay. Where are we?
The department, you can knock on anyone's door.
Yeah, and you can just walk in and have a chat. That is just the environment we have been immersed in. And you must have a better experience with that because you've been here longer than me.
Unfortunately, yeah. But I agree, we do have that great knock on the door mentality that you can, even as a graduate student, I can go and talk to somebody whom I've never, studied with and have a great conversation. But Shane has brought tea.
Yes, let's see how that goes.
What type of tea is this?
It's a very traditional black Chinese tea. And I wonder if you had that before. It gets heavy, so feel free to add water in it.
Oh, this is delicious.
Isn't it?
Wonderful. What's the name of it, in case anyone's curious?
Let's see. How do you... It's called 大红袍 in Chinese, but I'm not sure. There's no English translation. Sorry about that. I'll be working on it.
It's definitely delicious.
I'm glad you like it.
So, thank you so much for speaking with us today. You've given just such a wonderful perspective of the history program. And if you go into public policy, if you go into Eastern Asian studies, I wish you the best of luck.
Good luck with the dissertation.
Thank you. And one more thing, I almost forgot this. You published recently, didn't you?
Oh, yes, I did. I wrote a paper on the incident of Hubong, which happened on 1950, and I get a small award for that.
Where was it published?
It's on the New York Eastern Asian Studies Association, which is I think Dr. Stapleton was the secretary last year. It's not like a crazy huge thing, but it's neat, and people do publish serious work there. So,
and that's an honor to be included with it. It really is.
I mean, it's such a great encouragement. I wasn't expecting to get the paper prize because it was literally the first time I was presenting, but that is just.
Well, for anyone interested, I will post the link to her article in the comments of here.
Please do not be too harsh.
But thank you again so much for joining us. It's been such a pleasure talking with you today.
I've known Elizabeth personally. She's just this very nice person. And,
thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining us as well. We'll come back at the end of the month with more of our Facebook Live events.
Who are you going to invite next time?